Okay, so this is my audience. My name's Daphne Reyes, and I will be giving an informative speech on how important playtime is for childhood development. Have you ever seen a parent make a big deal out of their child's kindergarten graduation, and you thought to yourself, all they do is play? Well, you're wrong. Playtime is crucial for childhood development. In fact, during this stage of life, playtime is learning time. Today, we're talking about how important playtime is for the development of children. I'm an early childhood education student with a focus on social education and behavioral analysis. My ultimate goal is to become board certified behavioral analyst as well as a special education teacher. I am currently a registered behavior technician with 5 years of experience on the field. During this speech, I'll be talking about vital cognitive functions, how play builds social emotional skills, and the symbiotic relationship between gross and fine motor skills that occur when in play during early childhood. Let's start off with our cruise control, the brain, especially the cognitive part of the brain. The cognitive part of the brain isn't one part. It's a whole lot of interconnections within the brain. Playtime stimulates the development of the majority of these parts of the brain. According to the Children's Wellness Center, play is most definitely not a waste of time, especially for children of all ages whose brains are developing. The article continues by saying that play helps support the development of important cognitive functions such as critical thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, planning, creativity, and imagination, memory, focus, concentration, and language skills. The Children's Wellness Center also mentioned examples of cognitive play in a bullet point list that includes puzzles, memories, memory games, building and construction toys, imaginative or pretend play, storytelling, sorting and matching games, games with rules, and collaborative play. Many of these games are used in classes of all ages. There is a clear connection between these games and fun activities to those of real-life scenarios. This is a whole lot of activities that we do even as adults. Most of the skills mentioned are sought after in resumes, applications, dating filters, and are essential to our daily lives. Think about it. Without these skills, would you be who you are now? Children learn such important skills when playing games that as adults we might think are silly or useless, but we're forgetting that we might have started similarly. Moving on to our next topic, who here has ever been a sore loser? Now that you're thinking back to this one time in your childhood and you're a bit embarrassed, well, that's our next topic, social emotional skills. Behavior is what we use when we can't or don't know how to express our needs and feelings. Playing helps us cope with social and emotional situations. Carolyn Feinberg, an infant early childhood mental health consultant, wrote a paper titled The Power of Play in Developing Social Emotional Skills and Addressing Challenging Behavior, where she shared that play can support the building of self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Feinberg specifically tells us that playtime is where children naturally explore emotions, test boundaries, make mistakes, and try again. She then moves on to give us a few examples of games to play, such as emotion charades or puppets, or calming corners as play spaces, dramatic play with purpose, and a few others. This highly suggests that certain games will teach and develop certain skills. A game of Jenga will teach you self-regulation when the blocks collapse. But a game of pretend play could teach you just about anything. You can be a doctor who helps sick puppies, or a firefighter, rescue team who helps the community. This gives us hope that the next time we lose, we won't be sore about the loss and that we will use our words to tell our component that we want to play a different game. Perhaps one you're better at, or one where no one has to lose. One day, these skills will help if you don't get the big promotion or if your romantic feelings aren't reciprocated. But they'll also help you make friends, manage a team, or even how to read a room. Now that you've learned how to read a room with your social emotional skills, let's bring it back to the brain's cruise control, the cerebellum, aka physical development. Motor development and movement is all about walking, jumping, the execution of voluntary physical movements, balance, posture, and all the fine and gross motor skills. In the textbook Understanding the Whole Child Prenatal Development Through Adolescence by Jennifer Paris, Antoinette Ricardo, and Don Ryman, we get an entire section dedicated to the gross and fine motor skills development. The textbook shares a list of activities that can be used to support each of the skills, such as pouring water into a container, drawing, coloring, finger painting for fine motor skills, and ball play, Simon says, tricycle slides, swings for gross motor skills. This section alone gives us enough information to understand that fine motor skills and gross motor skills share a mutualism type of symbiotic relationship. The fine motor skills are used when the fingers hold the ball, but the gross motor skills is when the shoulder throws the ball. We actively see a large muscle group stabilize to reinforce the smaller movements. Back then, you were pouring water into a container, but now you're pouring yourself coffee while half asleep without thinking about it. At one point, finger painting was a fun and messy activity, but it turned into holding a pencil and writing your name for the first time. Now that you can pour a cup of coffee, let's recap about why playtime isn't a waste of time. In this speech, we talked about vital cognitive functions, how play builds social emotional skills, and the symbiotic relationship between gross and fine motor skills that occur when playing. My focus was to help you learn just how important playtime positively affects cognitive, social, emotional, physical, and overall childhood development. Next time you see a parent excited to celebrate their child graduating from kindergarten, remember that the child worked hard, played hard, and now they're ready for the next step towards tomorrow. Playtime isn't a choice. It's a right. It's a necessity for child's personal, professional, and social life. Thank you.